Now, I'm no expert on dating, which is why you can trust I know what I'm talking about. So whenever it comes to first dates, the obvious question is, how do I get one? And I'm no pickup artist, I say, hoping you would have thought otherwise, but there's no magic words you can use to convince someone to go on a date with you. And if there was, the closest we have is writing, "You have beautiful eyes," in the Pornhub comment section. In reality, getting a date in this day and age is pretty straightforward. Convey that you're an attractive enough person in both looks and personality, and then wait for your step-parents to go on a cruise. Now, the obvious way most people nowadays are getting first dates is dating apps like Tinder and Bumble, and in my experience, a lot of people feel like they aren't getting what they want. Guys say things like, "Oh, I never get any matches, it's a waste of time unless you're like a male model." And then their profile is a blurry photo of them in cargo shorts holding a foot-long Chinook salmon. Now, I hate to break it to you, but if you expect to match with a Victoria's Secret model, you're going to have to get up to at least a 3-foot halibut. Similarly, a lot of attractive women say things like, "There's just no good guys on here. It's like, why do I even try?" And then their bio is like, "Sophie, 25, love to meet new friends and have fun, winky face." And as a guy, when you see someone put like no effort into their bio, you just think, yeah, still pretty hot. So now that we flash forward in time and you've got a date, we can start getting to the real issues. Now, there are a lot of questions I found on Reddit from people who've never gone on a date before, and so I wanted to get those out of the way really quickly before we move on. Where should I go for a first date? Somewhere you'd enjoy going by yourself anyway. So yeah, drinks. Where should I go if I'm not 21? I don't know, church? Who should pay on a date? This depends on if you made a YouTube video that month or not. So yeah, usually her. Is it bad to have sex on the first date? Well, I'm afraid it's 2021, so the question isn't whether you had sex, it's whether you held hands. Should you tell her your sexual fetishes on the first date? No. That's why we have Twitch. Okay, so let's get down to the biggest first date mistakes. Making the fact that you're on a date ambiguous. One of the most common feels bad man scenarios is going on a date with someone to somewhere fairly platonic like a cafe, and halfway through your coffee they start talking about their boyfriend, and you're like, "Oh no, hey, I don't know what you thought this was, and I probably didn't communicate this properly, but like, I'm down to experiment, dude." Leading with money. A lot of guys think that girls like men with a lot of money. This is false. Girls like cool men with a lot of money. So unfortunately, she's not going to be impressed that you bought GameStop and AMC at the top, even though you're sure it's going to squeeze any time now. Slow texting. A lot of new daters feel they have to artificially stagger their texting to seem busy or unavailable. This is stupid because you are available. Instead, you should artificially stagger your texting because you're overthinking every word of your response. Bragging. Bragging is probably one of the worst things you can do on a date because you convey to the other person that you're insecure about your social value unless you leverage your one unrelated source of measurable significance. Worrying about what to say. Most people get really nervous on dates, filter themselves too much, and awkwardly run out of things to say. The common advice that you'll find is that it's not what you say that matters, it's how you say it, which is mostly true, but that's like saying, "Don't be nervous and just be cool, you idiot." If you actually want the solution to being so nervous, in my experience, it's A, it's fine not to say anything, and B, have a storyline. If you know the topics and stories you really want to share, then you can just completely improvise. If this first section is your trip to Coco Bongo in Cancun, it might be a 5-minute story, but the conversation will inevitably splinter into her trip to Mexico, clubbing, regrettable experiences, and getting kidnapped by the cartel. Then when those topics run out, you just say, "Anyway," and go back to the main storyline. If you then run out of storyline entirely and the date gets really awkward, just grab your emergency kit, roofie yourself, and wake up the next day embarrassment-free. Doing something that doesn't match your personality. If you're chatty and personable, go for drinks. If you're more subdued and aren't good at talking, do an activity like hiking or pool or board games, and allow her to absorb your personality by destroying her at bullet chess. Play to your strengths and your lifestyle. If you're an attractive guy, use Tinder. If you're really charismatic, get yourself into more social circles. If you're neither, like honestly, cheers.